In this video, we are going to give an overview of how forms work inside of Breely. Forms are one of the very central pieces to how clients will interact with you and submit their information to you. So first, in the left navigation, you'll see the Forms section. There are a few different ways that you can use forms. By default, everybody will have a booking form, which is a form that contains some way for clients to book appointments. That can be, and by default is a way to book one-on-one appointments, but you can also have a class scheduling in there. You can also use forms totally standalone without appointment booking at all and use them to collect information like a lead form, or you could use them to charge people a fixed amount, have them buy gift certificates, have them buy packages, have them buy subscriptions, or mix and match all of those different pieces in there. Forms are a very deep topic and there's a lot that goes off of it. So we're going to touch on a lot of different things today, and a few of those like automations and conditionals in forms and even the questions themselves, we'll do a deeper dive in separate videos. When you go into the form section, you'll see a list. You might have more than one here. Submissions will contain all of the submissions that people have done, whether they filled out a form and then submitted it to you. So if you click on the form, we can go in and edit it. And you'll see a few different sections. Each section can have multiple different questions in it. And finally, after it, there's a final section that's a thank you page. So if you wanted, you can add a few more questions in here. Like we'll add at the beginning a yes, no question and just ask if it's going to be their first visit to us. Is this your first visit? Make that required. And now when somebody goes to fill out this form, they'll be asked that question first. We can walk through the form to see how that looks. So this is section 1. Section 1 has 2 questions, a yes, no question, an appointment question. And then the next section is their client contact information. And maybe let's also add a phone number to this one too. Phone number, that's perfect. We'll make that optional in case they don't want to give that to us. And finally, after that, it shows the confirmation page. Let's walk through how that will look. So we will click over to preview the form. We'll say, yes, it's our first visit. We'll pick out a time in the future, and then we'll fill out the form with our information. I'll omit my phone number. And when we submit, it's confirmed and we get the confirmation page that has the thank you message and then also has everything about the appointment, add it to the calendar, reschedule, and cancel. If this were a standalone form without appointment scheduling, you would just see a separate thank you message and of course no way to add to the calendar or reschedule because there'd be no appointments involved in that. As part of this too, you can reorganize things. You can add conditionals inside of here. So for example, if we wanted to add different options based off of if it's your first visit, that's something that we can do in this conditional section and go to different sections based off of the answer that somebody gives. This does start to get more advanced and super powerful, and we'll discuss that more in a different video. When you go to add a question, there are a ton of different options in here. A lot of the basic things like being able to ask people just questions, dates, and locations, and a few of them that start to get a lot more complex, like layouts specific to class booking appointments, uploading files, and even doing e-signature, which changes the behavior of the form. And we will dive into all of these in another video going forward. To reorder the questions, you can click and drag. So if we wanted to ask people about their appointment first before the yes, no question, we can do that by clicking on it and dragging it up to the top. And now we have the appointment first and the yes, no question about is this your first visit down below. You can click on a question in order to change the settings of it. Each different type of question has different settings. You'll commonly see the label for it. This one, because it's appointment scheduling, doesn't have a label, but another one you'd have is a label and whether or not it's required. Dismiss that. And then sections themselves can also be reordered. Next to the section title, you'll see this little ... menu. Inside of here, you can use this to move a section up to the very top. For example, if you wanted to ask the client's contact information before you get their appointment, you could do that here. We can jazz up the form a little bit too by clicking styles. Styles will let us choose an image. If we wanted to add a full background image, you can do that. Select the image or do a solid background color and add your own logo in here, change how it shows in the heading. Depending on your theme too, we can change our theme a bit and have just different colors in here to match more of our brand, change the fonts, change how the different labels and everything else show, just to change the appearance of it and better to match our brand. There's a few different options in there that you can play around with and to try to give the best feeling for your form. Next, you'll see automations. Automations are emails, text messages. They can be really techie, advanced things like webhooks, but they're actions that happen after a form is submitted. You'll see all of these are related to an appointment because there's appointment scheduling as part of this form. Because this form has appointment scheduling on it, you'll see things like we can send an email immediately after somebody schedules it. So when they submit this form, they will get this email. We can add maybe something else that if you wanted to do a drip sequence to somebody, you can say just prep information for your appointment and then give them a lot more information just to be prepared for their appointment and send it maybe 2 days after they schedule. Great. And then before an appointment occurs are perfect for reminders. So you can add extra reminders in here, add text messages or other messages, and then also scheduling and canceling. There's default messages with all of these that includes all the appointment information, and then we'll also send a copy of them to you and everybody on your team as well. And you can adjust and change any of that. You can make things conditionally send, so you can send out different emails depending on the type of appointment that's booked. And this can get very powerful to do different things. So you've designed your form, added all the questions, you've styled it to better match your brand. You have all the automations set up that you want sent out to clients whenever they book an appointment on it or submit the form. The last thing that you need to do on here is share it. So you get a standalone link that you can copy and share to people. You could put this in your Instagram profile or anywhere else where you need to share a link. And that is going to be the standalone booking page. So we can paste that link over here and see what it looks like. And then we have our form first with our design and customized styling on there. But you can also embed it into your website. This can either be a standard embed that's directly inline in your website, so people will see it directly on the page. Or if you choose to do a pop-up, you'll have a button on your page that can trigger a pop-up that shows with the form content in there that allows people to fill out the form, schedule, or whatever else. And then finally, too, you can have multiple different forms. So forms are fantastic to be able to customize the different questions that people get depending on what they book. So typically what we recommend is maybe let's add another event type besides just a consultation, and we'll call it like virtual consult. And just have everything by default on there. And we'll create a separate form that is just for virtual consult. So when we go to create a form, we'll use another form as the base of it. So if we've customized any questions or any automations, we can copy those from our standard book appointment form. That's great if you use one form as a base and then start to copy them into everything else just to make it easier to get set up and match what you want. So for virtual consults, we'll remove the phone number and instead we'll say we separately connected to Zoom, and we'll want to customize this to only show the virtual consult appointments. And now when we send this form to somebody, they will see exactly just the virtual consult. They'll see the client contact information. Maybe we'll have them reorder some of the things. Maybe we'll add a question to try to get what are your goals for this session, or collect any other information that we wanted from clients about this. And then maybe we can give them some separate information that just says, thank you for booking. Please use the Zoom link given to you at the time of your appointment. Please join the Zoom link at the time of your appointment. Great. So now we have a customized form that's separate that we can share and embed on our websites that's specific just to virtual consults. All right, this was a lot of information, a big overview about how forms work, and look out for separate videos that will dive a little bit more into each of these different steps as well.